In three, two, one, we are rolling. And today we are talking about the Outdoor Film Festival. And I'm so excited to be here.
Me too.
Hi, Carly. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Kate.
And to everybody who might be watching this or listening to it, welcome. We're so excited to come and talk to you about this year's 2024 Outdoor Film Festival being hosted at Yip Cider. It's going to be a super fun time. It's coming up really quick next weekend.
Really cool.
And we're so honored to have Lisa Hrablik on the line with us today to talk a little bit about her process in becoming a juror, seeing the films. I know last year I was a previous juror and I was able to have that experience, and it was really inspiring to be in a room just around people who wanted to make something really great and put it out there. And it was really cool also being in a room of like-minded people who were selected as jurors as well, and kind of debating and going back and forth about how things could be better. And I think also as creatives, it made me look at how I also create at my own company. So I'm curious. I want to lean in. I want to hear all about that process. So welcome, Lisa.
Well, thank you, Kate. And I agree with everything that you said. I love film and I love storytelling, but I particularly love the ability of filmmakers to bring me into that story. And those visuals combined with some really vivid characters are what hold me. And that's what I loved about all of the films that you're going to be seeing this year. All 9 of them have some really great characters in there. And then the filmmakers themselves are doing some really interesting things in trying to bring me into not just the beautiful landscapes, but also what's in the minds of everybody who are in these films. And I think that's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, I definitely got that when I was watching them last year too. It definitely, it wasn't just watching something that was cinematically shot so well, but it was actually digging into some of the mental health aspects, where these things were shot, how to utilize the land in a different way. It really opened my eyes to even just accessing the world in a different way. So it is interesting that you say that, because I think if something can really make you think differently and make you feel something, I think that that's something of good quality. And like you said, these films, there'll be 9 films, and they range, as Lisa mentioned to me previously, anywhere from 3 minutes to about 40 minutes. So it's really interesting to see how people can really use time, place, environment, and utility to bring forth that story.
Right, absolutely. And so so over half of these films are from Atlantic Canadian filmmakers, and 3 of them are from New Brunswick. And so they are actually stories being told in places that I am familiar with. I know these places, and and even in watching those 3 films, Carved from Stone, Into the Cold, and Running in Circles, I saw very familiar landscapes in a different way, thanks to a combination of these filmmakers and the eye that they're bringing to it, and then also the people within the film. So, for instance, if we take Running in Circles, which is is the longest of the films, it's 40 minutes, and it's about a guy who ran 100 miles around King's Square to raise awareness and money for mental health issues. And so he's a endurance long distance runner. I don't know if I got that term right. You tell me, Carly. And you know what? How many times have you walked through King's Square? And I was sitting there going, "Oh my God!" Like, and it took him over 24 hours to do that run. And so, like, even learning and seeing that place where I've had lunch a bazillion times. And the only times I've ever run through King Square is when I was going to be late for a show at the Imperial. So I really appreciated what that was about, right? And so I think that's cool when a filmmaker can do that for me, right? Wolf of Wingsuit, it's come from the furthest. It's coming to us from Germany, and it's about base jumping. So that's those completely nutso people who are looking like a flying squirrel, and they're like, this guy is leaping off, I believe, the Alps, and I'm like, what the? And I was falling with him.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, cool. So like, if
That
you,
was me last year when I watched the debut of the slacklining film and seeing
Mhm.
just all of these. I heard of it like when you're looking at things like Trigo and stuff, and you see the small slackline, but I didn't know just how much people were really accessing this, and really how New Brunswick is being utilized as a really big way of this hobby, this industry, and really professional development of what this sport is, right? And I found that to be interesting too. And I learned so much. Just like my hands were so sweaty, I have to tell you, they were so sweaty watching that film. So I can understand watching the base jumping one probably would have had me a little bit feeling the same way.
right, and you have us, and so you'll also get that from Carved in Stone, which, spoiler alert, has a shot, a few shots of Carly is in this film. You'll see her holding the rocks. So this film is about women who do rock climbing in and around New Brunswick, and
Absolutely.
the opening scene from Carved in Stone will have you go,
Oh, I believe it.
really beautifully shot. I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah. And so I highly encourage anyone who loves film and wants to see their backyard from a different perspective to come on over to Yip Cider because it's so much fun. I can't say enough about the beauty of sitting outside um, and watching some really cool films about people doing really cool things. With the friends and new friends.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think one thing that I really learned, and I was so appreciative of you, Carly, bringing me in last year, was we don't know what we don't know. And that goes down to how people are enjoying themselves, how they, get out mental health, how they appreciate nature, all of those things. And one of the biggest things that we found is when you get out there, sometimes it can be a bit uncomfortable because you don't have, and you might have your devices with you, but you don't always have the devices that you're used to being at, maybe your computer, work, different things. And it
Mhm.
really helps you lean into making sure that you're doing things in the best possible way, safely. You've got a good crew of people that support you. And when you're around people who also want to do good, really cool things, I think it pushes your work ethic, your hobbies ethic, and it makes people also want to strive to be like that. So for me, watching the films last year was also a testament to the work ethic of how hard, well, not, and I maybe hard is the wrong word, but how much work goes into making something that can make somebody make a decision to try something new, or to come to our province and try something, or to just see it in a different way. And I think like that
Absolutely.
to me was a really big aha moment for me last year. And I'm really excited knowing that there's more opportunity here for New Brunswickers to see New Brunswick in that different light, because I'm hoping it makes submissions next year a bit harder because there'll be more submissions to pick from. Because I think it's encouraging people to get out and make content, and even if it's not of the utmost professional quality, if you have a passion for it, you should get out and share it.
Absolutely. And I think something to be said for this type of films that usually come through this outdoor adventure film type of industry is a lot of showing off brands or showing off a location and this and that. But what's unique about these films that have come through this year in particular, I find, is them being able to, as you said, Kate, tap into what people are thinking and how people are processing the environment and how they're processing the sport that they're undertaking and all the challenges that come with it and the resilience they're building along the way, and really tapping into that mental health aspect of the whole thing. I would say that's a strong theme for a lot of the films this year, is tapping into that mental health benefit, and just resilience building that you have through with these types of
I
films.
learned so much, honestly. I genuinely mean that last year watching them, because I remember watching, it's slipping my mind right now, the one about like gravel biking and just
Mm.
accessing all of the back roads and how many of these gravel roads and places exist. And by, you know, being considerate of the relationships, the land, not trespassing, being cognizant of, residents and things like that, we can actually access quite a bit more of places, to enjoy our hobbies and whatnot, which I found to be quite interesting because I was able to see places having lived here my whole life that I'd never seen before. And I'm finding more of that. And I find it's encouraging too, in a time where I feel that, film, TV. It's coming back to Atlantic Canada in a way that's going to help a lot of artists and entrepreneurs too. So
Absolutely.
if it encourages people to also get outside and to try to have a better sense of life once in a while working hard, I that was a really big takeaway for me. And I'm so I'm a lifetime St. John or New Brunswicker, and I'm honored to live in a place where people like you, Carly, rally up people like myself and Lisa and all the incredible, people who submit films, the people who are part of the crew, the amazing sponsors. I'll just shout out 97.3 The Wave, Country 94, Pam DeCourcy and team, her whole company, Working New Brunswick. It's all of those folks. It's the people at Yip Cider. It's all of the jurors, the people who get on calls to put this on outside and for people to come camping and to do yoga and to be there and to be under the stars watching cool films. I'm really proud to live in a place that we put the work in that happens instead of taking shortcuts and not doing it at all. And that's a big part of what I look at the outdoor film festival to be, is kind of like a rally of a crew of creatives that really care about everything that matters to me in this world. And I think as I get older, those things mean more to me. I don't know. Sorry to rant or ramble, but that's
No,
just
not at all.
what it meant to me watching it last year. And I was really excited to see the films this year. So
Absolutely. And you're hitting it right on the head as far as, the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes, literally behind the scenes, behind the camera. All these filmmakers putting in a ton of work and um, a ton of thought and detailed effort into putting forth not only the films but the trailers and
yeah,
the promotional lead up and all this. It's an incredible amount of work, and we're so lucky to have local filmmakers putting in the work on this end. We actually have a few filmmakers coming from Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. They're traveling all this way to share that time with us and to be able to network and meet and spend some time at the festival, which is such a huge thing, like a goal for us this year to have had that growth in kind of the industry coming together
right.
and chatting about these films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's just one of those things, like, it just takes you back for a second. I remember coming in and having the honor to watch them. And of course these films, they take time to watch, but then I remember just sitting there and watching each one and thinking, like, the amount of time that they took to storyboard it out, and just some of the ones that were the shortest actually were the most impactful, maybe the most emotional. And I never intended for that to be the case, but I think sometimes what we don't know is actually quite surprising to us. And I found that, especially after a pandemic and not being able to get out and to go outside as much or to be around people, that was also something that I took away from it. So I think that, I know, maybe everywhere is this way, but being a last minute, ticket buyer, these are the things that it's good to make sure you grab your tickets, grab a friend, go out and support a great business and a great film festival that's, putting so much into having additional resources, pushing creatives together. And just, 4 years ago, we would have, literally probably amputated our limbs off to have this out at Yip Cider and to, be able to sit around with friends and watch beautiful films. So I think, to me, it's a reminder to, continue to get outside and to make sure that you're out working with people who work just as hard as you, and everybody in those films. And the past year that I watched too, it was like, okay, like, they do not half-ass anything that they're doing, whether they're climbing, whether they're, like trail biking, slacklining, like they really go hard into it. They learn it safely and inclusively, and they try to really just show their love because they love what they found. And I find that to be unique, unlike any other. And I know, Lisa, you've had so much experience in the film industry and with TIFF and so many different festivals. Do you find this one to be a little bit of an anomaly as well, or?
Well, I think that I wouldn't call it an anomaly. I think it actually it fits quite nicely into sort of the panorama of different types of film festivals. Interestingly, it's coming right after Cannes, the world's largest film festival, just wrapped up as we are recording today. We're hearing who has won at Cannes, and we're seeing the films that are going to be making that first run for Oscars. And when I think of the Oscars, of course, I think about those big 6 awards, but I actually have always enjoyed the live action short and the documentary categories. And so all of these films would neatly fit into that live action short. And you were right, Kate, to say that sometimes the shortest films have the greatest impact, which is a credit to filmmakers because that means they're excellent editors or they have an excellent editor working with them. And to because when you think about when you're making a film, you're shooting hours and hours, and then to find the right not even just simply the right expression or the right scene, but then how you piece that together. And so that is a really important skill. And one of the things that I love about film and seeing film in a variety of different ways and what this film festival offers to an audience is the opportunity to see emerging filmmakers as they are experimenting and trying new things. And that is the gift that film gives to its audience. And so when I sit in a film festival, that's what I love because I am watching an artist in action. It is like watching an artist, like if you love going to musical performances and seeing that new song that they're trying out, that they're workshopping, or like I'm a writer, so when you read something that I'm just starting to do, that is what a film festival like the outdoor film festival offers to an audience. So if it allows you to step off your beaten path and turn off the streaming and watching a lot of those formulaic things. Bridgerton is out right now, so if you like a rom-com, right, we know exactly what we're getting from that. With this film festival, it's an opportunity to go and see something you wouldn't normally see and to have that beautiful surprise. And also, if the filmmakers are there, to get to talk to them and to hear their vision. I will say this, my favorite people to listen to at film festivals are never the movie stars. It's always the directors, the producers, and the screenwriters, because they are the actual artists really working. You are watching their creation, and that's the beauty of a documentary, is you are watching that vision come to life. So if I take a film, for instance, carved from stone, which is about the cold plunging, which there is a very specific vision that filmmaker Scott Munn is giving to us in that. And it's a very different perspective and vision than The Serpentine, which is a film coming to us from Newfoundland about fly fishing. They're both centered around water, but they're very, very different. And that is really, really cool to experience. And then you take that knowledge back into your everyday and how you then, it enhances your enjoyment of all of that other stuff that you love and turn to on your Wednesday afternoon. So maybe now after you go to see one of the all these films here, you might choose something different from those streaming platforms or check out that film you weren't thinking about going to see, but maybe now you will at the local Cineplex.
I think the location is really great too, because I know, everybody at Yip, they're a phenomenal team, great family, and what they're doing to try to utilize their land to let people come out and enjoy it, to then also watch these films about enjoying the environment is pretty cool to me, and it's a bit full circle. And it's family friendly. You can pull your boat right up there. It's pretty wild. And if you haven't got there yet, this is a really great opportunity to support a great business and to come check out the film festival. Not just a sales plug. It's just the truth, everybody. If you're listening or watching, and again, there's still some opportunity to get some tickets. So I encourage everybody to go to the website and get them if you can right now. Don't be a last minute person, because it's always such a bummer when you really want to go to something and then you're like, I'll just get them later. And it's like, well,
and then you're too late. No.
And then you're asking Carly to get on the guest list, and she's busy. She's busy making films happen, go up on big screens, right? So, and I think too, if you've never been to this kind of event before and you're wondering, like, how do on the website, I looked previously, there's a lot. If you buy a ticket, there's different film slots. There'll be music, slow coasters playing. I mean, it's a pretty awesome night. And I mean, it's coming up June 1st. I think it's a great way to kind of lead into summer. Check out Kingston. Bring your friends, bring your family. I think it's going to be a really good time. So if you're listening or watching, like Saturday, come on.
Get on it.
Get on it.
Guaranteed.
By the way, the website is ooff.ca. That's oof.ca. Check it out.
So easy, right?
Yeah, so easy.
Right to the point.
Exactly.
No, and I'm so excited. And just a shout out again to everybody, including Carly, you, Lisa, for getting on and just, becoming a juror, being part of this film festival. I know it means a lot to the people that are submitting these films to have a team to go through them and get them up and to showcase them. It can literally change people's lives, having recognition and exposure. And by making an impact on someone in the audience, a lot of times these conversations are held maybe privately, or they're not done on like reviews, but they're done through word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And my job in marketing, that's your brand and who you are, your work ethic is how people will perceive you. And I think coming out and just getting outside, regardless of if there's somebody showcasing a film or not, I think just getting outside for a couple of hours is really good for everybody. So if you're looking for some self-care, I think the Outdoor Film Festival on Saturday is a great way to do it.
Absolutely. Yep. It's perfect getaway outside. The Yip family had told me before there's this little weather bubble we have out here where if it's raining somewhere else, it's not.
It's always
sunny. I didn't believe them. I did not believe them until last year when we had a full-on thunderstorm uptown St. John and beautiful weather for Oof at Yip. So really
perfect. So so bring your lawn chair, bring a blanket, and come and join us, and come find Carly and I and Reese and Mike afterwards. So Reese Dobigan and Mike Carpenter were also jurors with me, and so come and debate and chat with us about the films. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, thank you both for joining me today, and I hope all of you listening and watching have enjoyed this, but even more, I think you'll enjoy Saturday. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, go get it right now. Just click pause and just go get the ticket now. That way you're good, you're solid, and you've got a way in. And until next year. Bye, everybody.
Bye.